Welcome. Thank you for enjoying my class today, or our class that we shared together. Today, we're going to be working with balance and tree pose today. And so ensure that you have something nearby you place your hand on while standing, and for sure a couple of firm blocks. So starting the practice, I want you to sit in a position of comfort. Your hands just resting onto your thighs, your fingers just off the ends of your knees. And then just softly close your eyes. As with all growing, as we do throughout our practice today, is from the ground up. So as you sit tall and strong, the importance of always being grounded onto your mat, grounded with all around, the sense of settling. With your next in-breath, lift your shoulders up. The opportunity of the side of your body to be growing. Keep your body long and just your shoulders settle. A little subtle movement of the shoulders to find that neutral leveling across your collarbones with the verticalness of your spine. And settling onto your mat with your props in alignment, eyes closed. Invite a full breath in. And a complete breath out. With each in-breath, your body grows, so sitting a little taller. And each exhale, allow your skin to soften, still the energy through your muscles. And the balance of the breath. Your in-breath, opportunity of opening. Your exhale, the release. In-breath with the open, and your out-breath releases the tightness. Your in-breath, a sense of freedom. Your out-breath releases the worry. In-breath gives you space. Out-breath, release. And continue with the balance of your in-breath and your out-breath. Sitting tall. Take your left ear to your left shoulder. And your right fingers just hang down by the side. Allow your arm to be heavy and hanging. Bring your head back up to center. I want you to lift both of your shoulders up to your ear and lower them down. Ensure that you're keeping the equal verticalness of both sides of your torso. And again, take your left ear to your left shoulder with no tilting of the torso. Shoulder blades are down, chest is open, sitting tall. And then back to center, and we'll change sides. Right ear to right shoulder, and left hand hangs down. A little internal observation. You do equal growing on the right and the left side of your torso. The only movement is the extension to the left side of your neck. Slightly tuck your chin in, as if there's a wall behind you. When you draw your next breath in, bring your head back up to center and roll your shoulders a few times. I want you to now lie down onto your mat, and I want you to have your firm blocks or pillows or whatever on either side of your mat. And then just lie down. So having your feet near the end of the mat, and then slowly lowering down. And once your head settles down, keep your knees bent, okay, and your feet onto your mat. Draw your breath in and breathe into the back of your body. So it's almost a sense as you're moving your mat away. And then as you exhale, a sense of floating release. So the breath is not just through your chest, through your belly, but allow the lengthening through the back of your body as well. So just opportunity of expanding, breathing into every cell of your body. Take your right knee into your chest and first give a little hug, squeezing of it in. The moving of your knee. So with your hands, your knee forward, back, side to side. The distance of the hands allows more ease. So as where the top of your thigh bone is plugged into your hip socket, it's just the movement, not the tugging, not the pulling, just the gliding. And then place your foot down and change sides. Draw your left knee in, and again, the movement. Now, if you've interwoven your fingers behind the back of your leg, interweave them the other way. And just put a little bit of the movement. And then place your foot down. This time, as before, your right knee into your chest. And I want you to start to straighten your right leg, so foot up to the sky. Remember to keep that gentle bending of your knee. Working on the groin. So your hands on the back of your leg. Sometimes it's nice, a little bit of a massage. Feeling the strength of the muscles on the front of your leg and often the tightness of the muscles on the back of your leg. And then working on the verticalness of your leg with your foot up, I want you to take your ankle, your right ankle, in a circular movement. Slow motion, just like the breath. In breath, space. Out breath, release. You change directions. Even with the movement, have a little peek at your foot, seeing all of the muscles, the ligaments, the bones. And then place your foot down. And we'll just change sides. Left knee into your chest. Straightening of the leg. And again, the massage, the strength, the power through legs, and the lightness of the feet. And as before, movement of the ankle. If there's any funny pops, movements, awareness with all of our balances. And the balance could be in a pose, a standing pose, or even just standing in the home, walking, balance at all times, the strength of the legs, but also the alignment through the ankles. And then place your leg back down. So with your knees bent, your feet near your sitting bones, I want you to have your ankles together and your knees together. So holding of it tight. Keep your left knee bent as it is and lower your right leg down. So the whole back of your right leg is down. From here, with your left knee, open it to the side. So this is a place that you can use the firm blocks for that support. Okay. So the inner surface of your foot, sole of your foot is onto your right inner, either calf, knee, maybe up towards your hip. And then with your hand, smooth your right hip flexor. So that's slow movement, gliding up and down. Now in doing so, keep your right foot flexed and active as if you were standing. From here, lift your arms up to the sky. I want you to keep your palms facing to each other, but shoulder distance apart. And with your next in-breath, extend your arms behind you. Imagine that you're standing tall, foot to the floor, fingers to the sky. Imagine you're horizontal. Bring your arms back up to vertical. Place your hands now to your side. With the assistance of your left hand, draw your left knee back in and lower your leg down. Bend your right leg now, so your heel is near your sitting bones. We're going to open again. So this time, open your right knee out towards the right. Again, as if we're going into tree pose. So having whichever support need be on your outer knee. Okay. And again, smooth out your left hip flexor. All that time we spend with it compressed. And that allows it to be long. And keeping the connection of the sole of your right foot to your left inner leg, lift your arms back up to vertical. Fingers flared open, so there's lots of space. And then slowly extend your fingers behind you towards the back. It's as if it's the morning yawn. Remember, keep your left foot flexed and active. The extension and length of your standing leg, which is your left leg. It's a laying leg, but imagine it's a standing. And then bringing your arms back up to vertical and hands rest by your side. Your right hand now draw your knee back up to center and hug both of your knees in towards your chest. And just a little bit of the movement. You're going to get yourselves to bring yourselves into sitting upright. So you can roll over onto your right side, the assistance of sitting upright, or a little bit of forward rocking upright. And then sitting upright, I want you to cross your opposite shin in front of the other than what you had before. I'll turn to face you. So we all have a habit, as you know, one shin in front of the other. So then just cross it so it's the other one. Your hands on your thighs. Press your thighs down to sit tall. Take your hands now behind your back and interweave your fingers and press them down. So there's even more broadness across your chest. And as I've done before, ear. Take your left ear, left shoulder. So your fingers are interwoven behind your back. I want you to even keep the heels of your hands together. So you're squeezing. There's a grape in the palm of your hand and you're squeezing out the juice. Bring your head back up to center and interweave your fingers the funny way. Again, full surface of palms together. This time, right ear to right shoulder. With the opening, the lifting, the alignment, how's your breath? Breath in, freedom. And breath out, release. And as you're ready, bring your head back up to center. Shake your hands out. Place your left fingertips now down. So I want your fingertips down, anchoring, and place your right fingers onto your right shoulder. Lifting of your elbow up. And then very subtly, take your shoulders together to ensure that the elbow hasn't collapsed forward. Let's all lean over towards the left and fingers walk even farther. So have your gaze down and then take your gaze forward. Now as it's forward, your shoulder blades are together. You can keep your fingers onto your shoulder or maybe up into a C. Now if they're up and towards the C, I want your shoulder blades together. You got the broadness across your chest. Yeah, beautiful. Close your eyes. Invite a full breath in. Release a complete breath out. Press your left hand down, move farther. It's almost a rebound as you bring yourselves into sitting upright. And roll your shoulders. We'll change sides. Right fingertips out, left fingers onto left shoulder and lifting. So you're giving that lengthening from the top of your hips, the pit of your arms, and then let's all lean over. So just ensure that your left sitting bone stays grounded, and then perhaps staying as is or extending the arm out. So of course pressing your right hand down to encourage almost like your ribs to the left. Big opening, having your gaze, shoulder blades broad. And press your right hand down. A little firmer to be able to bounce back up into sitting upright. And we're going to travel from here into table pose. So have your firm blocks. In table pose, I want you to have your hands onto your firm blocks. So your firm blocks will be on the outer edge of your mat. Your hands nicely planted down. Your thighs vertical, as with your arms. Now, as you know, you can be onto the firm blocks, your hands onto your knuckles or your palms. And I want you to just very slowly start by just hips side to side. And even as your hips side to side, have the bending of your elbows, just a lot soft little turn, putting space. And then bring yourselves back to center. Warming up the spine with the cat and the cow. So again, hands can be onto the firm blocks, actually firm blocks at whichever height, or knuckles. Eyes closed. So before there's any movement, I want the stillness, the connection of all 10 of your toenails, just below your knees onto the mat, and then cat and cow. So with your first in-breath, the filling of your belly down, tailbone floats. Remember, slow exhale, releasing of the breath, spine up towards the sky, head hangs, eyes closed. You've done it before with the counting of the breath to ensure the slowness and the fullness. Perhaps it's counting. Maybe it's just the rhythm, the slow in-breath, the complete out-breath, no rush. We always seem to end up by rushing around. So the slow movement, the body dance. Either position, you're giving space, and each pose you are releasing. I want everyone on your pattern to have one more in-breath, your pattern, bring yourselves back to center and neutral. Bring your hands towards your knees. You can actually have your firm blocks onto, so you're kneeling. And interweave your fingers and move your wrists in a circular movement. And now that your fingers are interwoven, turn your palms away and extend. Lifting of your palms up to the sky, so you have a verticalness. And then take your gaze to follow. So looking up towards your knuckles towards the sky, lifting, lengthen through your whole body. And take your arms to horizontal. Uninterweave your fingers and shake them out. So your hands on these firm blocks, tuck your toes under. And we're going to use the assistance of the firm blocks to bring into standing upright or folded forward. So press the firm blocks down to lift your knees up and softly hang down. So all four sides of your feet will be down, your hands to hang, and just allow your fingers to hang. Your arms completely limp. Give your head a little shake, shake. And I want you to softly sway side to side. Sort of like an elephant. The trunk side to side. And then back to center. So I want your knees to be gently bent. In the fullness of your next in-breath, sweep your arms out to the side and lifting them all the way up to vertical. Palms together and down to heart center. Your eyes closed. So the union of your palms together, the center, everything drawn into center with balance. So your head is above your heart. Your heart is above your hips. Your hips are above your knees. Your knees are above your heels. In breath, keeping your palms together, lift them up to the sky. And then swan dive down. Place your hands onto your thighs or your shins. A lovely half lift up on your in-breath. So stay lifted up halfway. Look towards your feet. See if you can flare your toes apart. On your next exhale, fold down. Place your hands back onto your firm blocks and walk them forward to take yourselves back into table pose. In table pose, extend your left leg behind you to place the ball of your foot down. So we're just into a lunge. So you can have firm blocks on whichever height. And it's the balance. So as you're directing your back heel away, the crown of your head forward. Keep your body long, lean, strong. Then we'll change sides. Center, and then extending your right leg back. Allowing the calves to be of equal length on both sides. And then draw your knee back into table pose. A little bit of movement, the body dance. So forward, back, side to side, elbows, neck. Always say the juice into all of those joints. And sometimes awareness of the tightness in joints, we didn't even know we had until we travel with the movement through. Now place your firm blocks now down onto its lowest level if it's not already there. And we're going to lift up into a short downward facing dog. So toes tucked under. And actually your knees a little farther forward. So it's going to be a shorter one. Press your hands down to lift your hips up, heels down. So again, you might be taking a little step farther forward. Even in this pose, you have the option of having the firm block on its highest level if you're just feeling the discomfort through your wrists. Again, suppose you can choose. Perhaps you want it a little bit longer, your feet a little farther apart or closer. Your body, your mat, your practice this morning. So what feels right? Your heels perhaps will be to the mat, a bit shorter or not. It doesn't matter. Allowing that lengthening from your tailbone, descending down the back of your legs towards your heels. And then peek. You have all 10 pads of your toes down. It can be a soft bending of your knees. Big breath in. And full breath out. Look forward to the front of the mat. And then slowly walk forward. So you'll be folded forward at the front of the mat. Hold on to opposite elbow and a lovely swaying side to side. Just peek down that your feet are hip distance apart. It's about the width of 2 fists. Knees soft. Give your head a little shake. Make sure there's no tightness. Place your hands now onto your hips, your knees staying soft, hinge to standing upright. And roll your shoulders a few times. So look down towards your feet and see if you can flare your left toes apart. So you have a bigger surface of your foot on the mat. And then look ahead to find a focal spot. Lift your right knee up. So your hands can be behind the back of your right thigh and lifting it up. So find a focal. Notice the movement through your ankle, ensuring that your knee isn't locked. There's a little bit of a bending to it. And then just lower down. We'll change sides. So this time, all 4 sides of your right foot rooted down, lifting of your left knee up. Your hands can be there just for the support. Lengthening. So allow yourself to be even taller. If there's still a little bit of wobbling, that's okay. Sort of finding that initial grounding. And then lower your leg down. This time, take your arms out to the side. Find that focal spot again. Left foot rooted, right knee lifts. Your arms are out to the side, the airplane to give that balance. Keep your right foot flexed. So even though we're standing in somewhat stillness, keep your breath gliding. Often when our breath shortens, we're holding on to the tightness. We've got our strength, but we don't want the gripping. And then lower your knee down. Give your hips a little shake, and we'll change sides. So again, arms out to the side. Okay. And then the lifting of your left foot up. So you've got that knee, like you're stepping onto a high step, high bench. So lifting. Have a slow, nourishing breath in and a smooth, releasing breath out. Make sure your shoulders haven't tightened. Your head is still stacked above your heart. And then slowly lower your leg down and give a little shake. Sweep your arms up to the sky. And then swan dive down, all the way down. Your hands can be on towards your thighs or your shins. Let's all have one lovely half lift up. And stay as you are, spine horizontal, with the breath out. Breath in, stay as you are. And breath out, slowly melt down to the mat. And take yourselves back into child's pose. Your toes together, your knees apart. Your head down. Your head can be onto a firm block. One fist on top of the other. Perhaps your head to the mat. Find a place that allows the releaseness of the back of your body. And your breath. The lovely breath in. Complete breath out. Shift yourselves forward now to take yourselves back into table pose. And have your hands on the firm blocks again. Actually, have the firm blocks on its highest level. Here, take your left foot forward to the front of the mat. So we're taking ourselves into a supported lunge pose. And in this lunge pose, I want you to move your knee forward and back to find the place that your knee is directly above your ankles. So you have that verticalness. Your back toes can be tucked under or untucked, whichever is more comfortable. Place your hands onto your knee. Press your knee down to bring yourselves up. Palms together at heart center. So your thumbs towards your heart. And then take your gaze up. The lengthening. So your belly button towards your spine, your torso long. The lifting from your belly button to your heart. There's the balance. So having all four sides of your front foot rooted down. All 5 toenails on your back foot. And then keeping your palms together, lift them up to the sky. Perhaps your thumbs a little farther back, caring for the lumbar part of your spine, but the lifting. And the bending of your elbows to bring your thumbs back to heart. Hands down onto the firm blocks, and we're going to go into reverse. So slowly straightening of your front leg. You can walk it a little farther forward. And then, as you know, the top of your thigh bone, plug it into your hip socket. So your hips are neutral. And then slowly lower down. It doesn't matter how low you lower yourselves down to. It's how much opening on the back of your extended front leg. So this is an opening. It's not a tugging or a pulling. It's a slow releasing of those muscles. We've had a little bit of a massage when we were lying on our back, so it's already at ease. Just make sure that your front foot, your left foot is flexed. The opportunity of a little bit more extension, not just through your hamstrings, but the whole length of the back of your leg. Check the shoulders. Are they released? Find a balance of alignment and strength through your whole body, but releasing the tightness. Bend your front knee now so that your knee is directly above your ankle and tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up so we're into a lunge pose, a higher lunge pose. And then from there, you can keep your fingers onto the firm blocks or place your hand onto your front knee. And then take your gaze forward. Now, back knee tends to drop. If it starts to bend, then just keep it on the ground. See if you can work more with the lengthening. And as before, perhaps your palms together. So you can keep your knee on the ground, fingers onto the firm blocks, knees, or palms together. Your practice what feels right. Now this is a bit of a balance challenge, so I want your breath to be smooth. Feet rooted, chest lifting, breath in. Soft sigh in your exhale. Holding the power and the muscles and the bones within, but the softness of your skin, and the releasing of the tightness. Even there's still a smile on your face, but without the tightening of the muscles. Place your hands now back down onto the firm blocks, and we're going to rock and roll. So hop your back foot a little farther forward, and as you place your back heel down, your front toes will lift up. So again, your back heel now lifts up, all four sides of your front foot is down, and then shifting back. Back heel is down, front toes are up, and I want you to just rock yourselves far and forward. Now the importance, I want both of your feet, your toes pointing towards the front of the mat. So it's like you're onto a railroad track and you're sliding forward and back. And the next time your front foot is anchored down, keep it glued down and slowly lower your back heel down. Now if it doesn't quite reach to the mat, then you can just shorten the stance a little bit more so. Head hangs. There's strength, there's ease. Give your head a little shake, shake. The busyness of our thoughts. Shaking of the head lets those thoughts wash away. Just stay focused. And how does it feel? Connection of your feet to your mat. All four sides. Your knees down. Extension through your calf. The lengthen through your front shin. Now, look up, and we're going to go into Warrior One. So your back foot, I want you to pivot it so your right toes are to the right front corner of the mat. And I want you to bend and straighten your front knee a few times to find that place that your front shin is vertical, your back heel is down. And then bring yourselves up. So it's a little bit of adjustment. Your left toes still to the front of the mat. Your right toes to the front corner. Hips are neutral, front knee is bent. Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Again, palms together at heart center. So your back right leg is strong and firm. It's a direct line. Keeping your palms together, lift them up to the sky. And then from there, bending of your elbows so your thumbs are to the back of your head and your gaze up. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior One. Just a little adjustment, make sure the top of your left thigh bone is plugged into your hip socket. You've got that neutralizing of the hip, but the lengthening of the front of your body and the extension through the back of your lower leg. Bring your arms back up to vertical. Straighten your front leg, and we're going to go down into pyramid pose. Reach your fingers forward. Place your hands onto your firm blocks, whichever height, and settle down. And as we've grown from the ground up, from the kneeling low lunge to mini pyramid, to the crescent high lunge, to rock and roll, to Warrior One, to pyramid, step by step, growing from the mat up and down, just like the waves. In and out. Bend your front knee now and place your firm blocks down and just take yourselves back into child's pose. Just where we've been before. Your firm blocks are in front of you. I want you to have your forearms onto the firm blocks. So your fingers hang down as with your head. Any weight that was on your hands, so there's now space, the back of your wrist, the front of your wrists. And then shift yourselves forward. We're going to change sides. We're going to grow on the other. So have your firm blocks back onto its highest level. And this time, opposite foot forward. And again, choosing the position, your back foot can be untucked or tucked under. Make sure your front toes are directly towards the front of the mat. And then hands onto your knee. Press your knee down to lift your chest up. Ensure that the top of your thigh bone, left thigh bone is plugged, right thigh bone is plugged into your hip socket. And again, bring your palms together. Interweave your fingers the funny way, the way that you're not used to, and press your palms away. And then lift them up to the sky. And then as your palms are up, bend your elbows. And place the knuckles on the crown of your head. And then straightening of your arms up to give you a little bit more extension, smoothing out your front hip flexor. Take your arms forward. Release your hands down to the ground. Give them a little shake. And place your hands in your firm blocks. We're going to go into reverse. So slowly straighten your front leg. Your heel is on the mat, your toes towards the sky. And as you've hinged forward, give your head a little shake, shake. Make sure your shoulders are soft. Often there's a bit of a magnet, shoulders towards earlobes. Keep that space, your neck is long. And just enjoy the settling down of the initial forward fold, mini pyramid. As you know, with these poses, it's more working on lengthening. We're often thinking of how close can my nose be towards my knee. It's more how long and with ease the back of your leg is. So you can adjust the height of the firm block so you keep it on its highest level, maybe down a level, but never to the point that you feel more strain, your breath shortens, and there's tightness. It's your body on your mat, what feels right. Breath in, freedom. Breath out, release. Breathe in is space. Breathe out, release the tightness. Shift your weight forward now to bend your front knee. Take your firm block so it's higher level. Tuck your back toes under. Pick your back knee up. So again, finding that focal spot. So your back leg is strong and long. Keep your hands on the firm blocks. Or maybe even, let's all go with our fingertips. Keep your hands there or maybe on towards your thigh. Keep your gaze down, but your shoulders soft. And stay like this, or perhaps your palms together at heart center. If your hands are together at heart center, interweave your fingers the funny way and press them forward. Perhaps lifting of them up, giving that lengthening. Whatever works best for you. Your fingers can be onto the firm blocks or on towards your knee, or hands together at heart. As you know, each day is a little different, each practice. There's a little bit more alignment or balance or strength or ease, just like each one's of our days are a little bit different. Fill your body, allow your breath to pour right to your belly. And your exhale to release, starting from your belly. Belly button in, taking the breath, releasing it out. If your arms are up, take your hands forward and place your hands back down onto the firm blocks. We're going to go into rock and roll. Your back foot, a couple hops forward. And as you lower your back heel down, lift your front toes up. And again, that movement. forward and back. And as with everything, it's that into the silence. Silence of your active thoughts. And the next time your front foot is planted down, keep it glued. Lower your back heel down. Hips are neutral. Head hang. The sense is walking onto a tightrope and that your toes are forward, front and back foot. And draw a complete full breath in. Breathe into every cell of your body. Keep breathing in, and a sigh on your exhale. And the power of a sigh, how a layer of tightness is released. Bend your front knee now, so that your shin is vertical, and pop your back foot forward enough to keep it vertical. Remember, your left toes to left front corner of the mat, and actually place your hands onto your hips to hinge yourselves upright. So with your hands on your hips, I want you to ensure that the top of your right thigh bone is tucked back. And back and full. Lift your shoulders up to your ears. Slide them back and down. And bring your palms together at heart center. With the palms together, lift them up to the sky. And either keeping them up to the sky, or the bending of your elbows, thumbs to the back of your head, and that lifting. Keep your back leg fired up. Front shin vertical. Stability from the ground up. Muscles of your body are activated, but a sense of drawing in so your body grows longer. Straighten your arms back up to the sky. Take them shoulder distance apart. Straighten your front leg. And then hinge yourselves forward and down. Your hands onto the firm blocks at whichever height. And head to hang. Slow breath in, complete breath out. Give your head a little shake. Make sure that there's no tightness that's been built up. Allow your breath to be of quality. Even a pause at the top of your in-breath. Allow your body to absorb. And the smoothness of your exhale with ease. Bend your front knee now so that you can lower your back knee down and take your front foot forward to go back into child's pose. Whichever option, you can use the firm blocks or not. Your head to just settle down onto the fists, onto the mat. Wiggle your toes. Enjoy that there's the weightlessness on the soles of your feet. And take the weightlessness of the tightness that's on your body to wash away. And take your hands forward. If they're not already, we're going to walk over towards the left. You can have your hands on the firm blocks or not. Strolling over towards the left, eventually your right hand resting on top of your left. And give yourselves a little bit more of that space. And then we'll change sides. Hands back to the center of the mat, and then over towards the right. And then walk your hands back to the mat. Take the firm blocks back up to vertical in front of you. Take your right foot forward, so we're back into the lunge, and tuck your back toes under. And then with that step, pick your back knee up, so we're into the lunge. So your back foot, I want you to lower your heel down at an angle for warrior two. So the outer edges of your back foot will run parallel with the back of the mat. And windshield wipe yourselves up into warrior two. Okay. So look down to ensure that your knee, your front knee is towards your little toe. So you've got that opening. Turn your palms up so your shoulders descend. Actually straighten your front leg and lift your arms up to the sky, giving yourselves that verticalness. Okay. Bend your front knee again back towards your little toe and lower your arms down halfway, but keep your palms up to allow your shoulders to descend. And looking just past your fingers. Settling a little farther down. So with the external rotation of your front thigh for this pose. Take your right hand now onto your right thigh and just place your back hand onto your hip. So as you fold forward like this, has your knee collapsed in. So your forearm is there to encourage a little bit more opening. And then your fingers onto your shoulder. And then extending beyond. So if there's extending beyond is a strain, then just keep your fingers onto your shoulder. Fingers onto your shoulder. Take your right side of your ribs and scoop them under. Eyes closed. Bring yourselves back up into warrior two. Straighten your front leg, and we're going to go into triangle pose. So actually first start with your hand onto your back hip, reach forward, and place your hands onto your thigh, perhaps on towards your calf, maybe it's onto a firm block. The importance is both of your legs are straight. I want your torso to stay straight as well, so you might not go down very far, and look up. So send yourselves into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So even your right buttocks, scooping them under. From here, you can do whichever variation. You keep your hand onto your hip. Have the variation of maybe lifting it up to vertical. It's more important of creating this V position. Bend your front knee now. Hands back onto the firm blocks. Okay. And then lower your back knee down and take yourselves back into table pose. I'm just changing of position, just kneeling to standing. And then we're going to change sides and do it again. So this time, opposite foot forward into the low lunge. Tuck your back toes under. Pick your back knee up. And then take your gaze right to the back of the mat. So as you lower your back heel down, your front heel is aligned with the inner arch of your back. Front knee staying bent, windshield wipe yourselves up into warrior two. So again, drawing open. So you're sailing your front knee towards your little toe and turn your palms up again. Straighten your front leg and lift your arms to vertical. This is ensuring that your torso is vertical on both sides. Lower your arms down halfway and bend your front knee and look just past your fingers. And then settling. Front forearm now onto your thigh and your back hand onto your back hip. I want that scooping of the left side of your ribs under. You take your gaze up and then choosing the position of your hand onto the hips, shoulder, or vertical. Vertical is not the final pose. The final pose is the opening through your hip, length of your legs, torso all four sides is long. Arm up doesn't take the pose any further. A pose like this one is from the ground up. You take yourselves back up, straighten your front leg, and we're going to go into triangle pose. Front hand down, back hand onto your hip as before, and then the option perhaps lifting of it up. If you've chosen to lift it up, have a look. You have to be able to see that it's completely vertical. If it's not there, then it's not pose variation for you. There's a book written about, or shows about all the poses. Having to remember that as with all, it grows from the ground up. Bend your front knee. Place both of your hands on your firm blocks. And this time, just step your back foot forward. So you will be folded forward at the front of the mat. And I want you to take your peace fingers and hold on to your big toes. Now your knees can be generously bent. Whichever position with the assistance of the hands gives the opportunity of a little bit more lengthening through the back of your legs. Perhaps your hamstrings are a little bit softer, longer now than at the beginning of the practice. Big breath in. And a complete breath out. Slide your fingers out and place your hands onto your hips and hinge to standing upright. Give yourselves a little shake. Standing at the front of the mat, I want you to have your feet, bring your feet together, the inner edges of your feet together, knees together, hands hang down. Take ourselves into Tadasana, the foundation pose. But this time the inner edges of your feet are together. And as the feet are together, the balance is not quite as of ease. It reminds of everything into center and the connection of all four sides of feet down. And the settling, checking from your toes to the crown of your head. Strength, ease. And then gently opening of your eyes. We're going to go into tree pose. I'm going to turn to face you. So we're going to tree pose. So you might want to have a wall nearby or a bench or a chair, whatever is there to give a little bit more of the balance. So we're going to start weight onto right foot. So on your right foot, flare your toes open so you got more space. You can do right or left, whichever side is best for you. And I want you to give a little bit of buoyancy of your standing leg. Go onto your tippy toes and pivot your opposite leg open. So it's just like we had been in Warrior 2 and Trikonasana. It's that external rotation. And then arms out to the side. Look down so you find a focal spot. And then very slowly, taking your toes off and placing the sole of your foot, your left foot, onto your inner calf or your inner ankle. We're only going to go this far. Arms are out and broad, bringing you the balance. And always encouraging your left knee open. In the pose of locking of your right leg, More allow it long, lean, and strong. And then with your left knee, direct it forward towards the front and lower your leg down. And we'll change sides. We'll go step by step. Toes flare open, so your feet, your toes are anchored down, rooted down. Go on towards your right tippy toes, and just before you do anything else, just that external rotation, that pivoting. And then arms out to the side. So you've got that airplane balance. And finding a focal spot. Before you do anything else, have a full breath in and a sigh. And then placing the sole of your foot onto your inner ankle or your inner calf. So it's that magnet drawing everything into center, but without the locking. And if you come down, that's okay. Come down and go back into the pose from the ground up. Foot down, pivoting of the knee open, arms broad, breath full. And then with your right knee, turn it forward towards the front and lower your foot down. Give yourselves a little shake, shake. Okay, we're going to go back to the first one. Root your right foot down onto your left toes. Knee open towards the left, arms out. Then the sole of your foot onto your inner ankle or your inner calf. Now, this is great. If you're not holding onto a wall, you're not touching anything, then you can bring it up higher. If you've got your hand onto the wall or something, just leave it where it is, allowing that opening. Arms out to the side. Turn your palms up. Just keep your shoulders down. Breath in. Breath out. Whatever height your foot is on your leg, that's okay. It's giving you your tree pose. Root, growing up, right to the crown of your head. See if you can be a little taller. Turn your bent knee now forward and lower your foot down. And a little shake, shake. Okay, we're going to change sides. So arms out. Start with the arms out onto your right tippy toe. Open knee to the left or to the right. And then the connection, whichever height. Again, whatever you had done on the first one, do it on the second as well. Okay, oops. The opening, the lifting. Arms are out to the side, that's the balance. Okay. If you've got your hands on something, maybe just take your fingers just a little away from it. It's like you're touching that wall or furniture, the balance, but your fingers are just off, like it's there. It's like the invisible connection. Turn your palms up again so that your shoulders are down. And as you know, whichever variation from this pose that you had done on the other one, do it on this one. But keep your breath growing. Allow with your in-breath to stand a little taller. Your out-breath, perhaps your knee a little bit more open, still holding that connection. Breath is full. Tree pose. Vrikshasana. Now, turn your knee forward. Lower your foot down and hands to hang. Beautiful. Sweep your arms out all the way up to the sky. And we're going to fly down into child's pose. Take yourselves right back down onto the mat. In child's pose this time, you can have your hands back, your fingers near your little toes, or if it felt better, you can keep your arms forward. Just sort of find that position that there's a release through the shoulders, and there's the ease through the knees. If into child's pose right now is uncomfortable on your knees, you can do this on your back. Just lying on your back, draw your knees to your chest, rock side to side, or whichever variation of child's pose. And you should bring yourselves into sitting upright. So in doing so, your legs will be forward towards the front of the mat. Have your firm blocks by your side again. And as you're sitting tall, take your hands behind your buttocks, scoop them back. So you have that connection. Your head above your heart above the center of your hips. And place your hands behind the back of your left leg. And we're going to open. So if you have a strap nearby, perhaps you can place a strap for it. Take yourselves into a pose that's called Janu Shavasana. We had done this one when we were lying down at the beginning of the class. We had done it when we were standing. We're now doing it sitting. So you have the option of using the firm block as need be, whichever height, or sometimes even just tucking a blanket in is all that's needed. So hopefully our hips are a little bit more opening. And then take the lovely strap, if you have one, and place it under the ball of your foot. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can just have your hand onto your leg. So the importance of this is the top of your thigh bone plugged into your hip socket. So it's almost consciously popping your hip back so that your hips are neutral. Stay sitting tall as you are. A complete breath in. And a sigh on your exhale, slowly start to fold forward. You might not go very far. Take yourselves far enough that you're feeling the opening, but without feeding the strain. As with all poses, it's not an achievement of how far you can lower down. It's more of how much you can release the tightness of those muscles. And as you know, it might be not even a millimeter each time. But with each time, there's a small little bit more space in the tightness of the muscles that hold our tightness. It's a combination of, sometimes it's stress that brings the tightness. A lot of times it's physical activity. The muscles are fired up. They're not stretched after they start to build that tightness. And then just keep the waves of your breath. Beautiful breath in. Complete breath out. Slowly bring yourselves into sitting upright. And we'll change sides. So you have the strap already there. Now whichever prop that you want, have it over towards the opposite side. And then scoot. Opposite knee up. And placing it to the inner calf or inner thigh. So just doing exactly as we had on the other side. So sitting tall and long, and look past your toes. So as you start to hinge forward, looking past your toes, and then when you hinge no further, the tightness arrives, then allow your head to hang. And find what's right for you. Working on keeping the back of your extended leg flat. Get a little bit of space underneath the knee, but really working on gravity, drawing it down. And often the closer we work to get our toes towards the knee almost lifts up towards. So keep your leg flat and long. And the smoothness of your breath, but the smoothness, releasing of the tightness of the muscles through the hamstring. And then it's like the waves of the breath. Or maybe it's like the branches in a tree. The soft breeze, side to side. The breath in, the breath out. Slowly bring yourselves back to sitting tall. And take the strap off to the side. Push your knee in. Extend it forward. And give the back of your knees a little pat, pat. I'm going to get you to lie down onto your mat. So you just place everything you want for Shavasana in place. We're not going to go there yet. We're going to do a few things. But have a blanket nearby if you want a pillow. Or if you have a bolster, have that within distance. So everything's ready for you for Shavasana. And enjoy as you lie down onto your back. As you lie onto your back, draw your knees in towards your chest. A little bit of rocking side to side. And then place your feet back down, but keep your knees bent. We're going to thread the needle. So we'll start right knee into your chest. And then place your right knee onto your right ankle onto your left knee. And first thing you do is your hand moves your right knee away. And I don't want you to go any further. Just stay like this, really focusing on the opening, the final opening through the hip. And you have the option now, if you want, to use either a strap or your hands behind the back of the leg, or even just have your foot onto one of the firm blocks. Any of the poses that we go into, if you're feeling the strain, then you've gone too far. So listen to your body. If your fingers are interwoven behind the back of your leg, I want it to be softly interwoven. I don't want gripping. If your hands are behind the back of your legs and your fingers can't quite reach, then just use a strap. Important in this pose, as you know, is blending together all parts of the body. The opening of the hip towards, out towards the right, drawing in. But that back surface of your body, the back surface of your shoulder blades, keeping that grounded. So if they're picking up so you can hold on, you've gone too far. I want you to imagine that you're standing against a wall. Your whole body is towards the wall. Your whole body is towards the mat, whichever variation, but straight. See how long you can keep your collarbones. Familiarity of a pose of thread the needle. And then I want you to just unwind. Take yourselves right out of thread the needle to place your feet on the outer edge of the block, or outer edge of the mat, and a little bit of windshield wiping side to side. We've done lots of hip openings. This will just be a shorter version of our final one. And then change sides. So this time left knee in, hug. Left ankle onto your right knee. Press your leg away. The foundation. It's the back of your hips, the back of your body, back of your shoulders, back of your head, down. And then whichever variation. This might be just nice like this, or perhaps a strap, or perhaps your hands. Just sort of find that opening And whichever variation that you're on, your elbow or your hand can be encouraging your left knee away. So there's no collapsing in, there's more this space. Again, whichever variation that you use. Of course, your eyes are closed, so it's just the internal observation. As you lay in stillness in this pose, the stillness of your body, keeping the stillness of your mind. If your thoughts are distracted, listen to your breath, how it feels, how it sounds, how it is. And slowly now unwind. With your feet on the mat, place your feet on the outer edge of the mat. Take your arms out to the side, and I just want you to windshield right, blending together the rotation at the top of your thigh bone to your hip socket, calming swaying of knees side to side, and the final release. Before we travel into Shavasana, take ourselves into the happy baby. Draw both of your knees into your chest. Take your arms between your knees and hold onto your outer calves, ankles, maybe feet, whichever variation, the nice rocking side to side. And then hug both of your knees in. Lower your feet down. And get yourselves ready for Shavasana. So lying onto your back, you can have a pillow or whatever you have behind the back of your knees. The loveliness of a blanket. If it's cold, you can have your socks on. All seasons, sometimes there's a bit of a chill after the class. The energy, the activeness, and then the stillness. And just lying down onto your back, your eyes closed, your hands by your side. Eyes closed. Have a big breath in through your nose and a release out. There's a positivity and abundance. When you are ready, close your eyes and take a deep, conscious breath in. Allow your breath the release. Feel yourself relax. Allow yourself to take another deep breath in. Allow your breath to release. The abundance, the opportunity, the release. your breath, your awareness, your stillness. The movement of your breath. Can you feel the beating of your heart? Strong, smooth, and full. The slow movements of your toes and your fingers, but keeping the stillness of the rest of your body. Invite a few deeper breaths, breathing into your chest, the side of your body, into your belly. Give yourselves a space as you breathe into every cell of your body. And perhaps the movements of your wrists or your ankles. Eventually rolling over onto your right side. And as you lay on towards your right side, hug your knees in towards your chest. And enjoy the warmth and comfort. And press your left hand down now to bring yourselves into sitting upright. And sit right in a position of comfort, your hands resting onto your thighs. And lift your shoulders up to your ears. Back and down. And bring your palms together at heart center and the soft bowing of your head, bowing to the light within. Change is not only inevitable, but always happening. When you truly embrace this concept of change being consistent, the only thing left to do is grow, detach, venture inward, touch the spirit, and find your source. The only responsibility of keeping you grounded through the ever-changing seasons of life. Change, opportunity. Breath in. Release out. I wish you namaste. Place your hands down and open your eyes. Thank you for enjoying the class and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.